been carrying so much. The pressure to keep going, to hold everything together, to stay strong even when you're barely hanging on. But God never asked you to do it all alone. This moment is an invitation to stop striving, to breathe, to be still, and to remember that God is your strength, not your own effort. When you breathe deeply, you're making space for His peace. When you pray, you're handing over what you were never meant to carry. And when you rest, you're choosing to trust that He's working, even when you're not. What are you holding right now that God is gently asking you to release? It's easy to believe that rest is weakness, that if you stop, everything will fall apart. But true strength begins in surrender. This reflection reminds you that even Jesus withdrew to quiet places to pray, to pause, to reconnect. You are not failing by needing rest. You're following His example. When you breathe, you slow the rush. When you pray, you realign with truth. When you rest, you let God be God. You are not defined by how much you produce, but by how deeply you trust. In stillness, your strength is renewed. What part of your life is desperate not for more effort, but for more surrender? You weren't created to live in constant tension. God didn't design your soul for burnout. His strength isn't a backup plan, it's your source. This reflection invites you to stop measuring your worth by how much you can endure. God delights not in your exhaustion, but in your dependence on Him. When you breathe, pray, and rest, you declare, "I trust you more than I trust myself." That's not giving up, that's giving over. And it's in that moment of release that you begin to experience the kind of strength only He can provide. What mindset do you need to let go of so you can start trusting God as your strength? Let's keep seeking Him together. Subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a moment. Sometimes you pray and it feels quiet. Sometimes you rest and the anxiety still lingers. But even in those moments, God is moving. Strength isn't always felt instantly. It often grows slowly, quietly, beneath the surface. This reflection reminds you that trusting God isn't about immediate results. It's about steady dependence. Breathe again, pray again, rest again. Not because everything is fixed, but because you believe He's faithful. He's renewing you, not just solving problems, but reshaping your soul. Let His strength replace your striving. What would shift in your spirit if you believed that rest is a form of worship, not weakness? In a world that glorifies hustle and constant motion, choosing rest can feel like rebellion. But it's the kind of rebellion heaven honors. This reflection reminds you that rest isn't stepping away from purpose, it's stepping deeper into God's presence. When you slow down, you begin to hear His voice more clearly. When you pause, you remember that He's holding the weight you were never meant to carry alone. Strength isn't found in doing more. It's found in being still enough to receive what only God can give. What would happen if you stopped running for a moment and let God catch you right where you are? You don't have to earn rest. It's a gift. A sacred space where God meets your weakness with His strength. This reflection invites you to step away from pressure and into peace. You're not falling behind by slowing down. You're stepping into rhythm with the one who created time itself. Breathe deeply, knowing that every exhale can be a release, and every moment of stillness can be filled with His presence. Let prayer become your reset, and rest become your resistance to the chaos around you. God is enough, and in Him, so are you. What does it mean for your soul to believe that rest is holy and God is already working? You've done enough. You've carried enough. Now is the time to breathe, to pray, to rest, and to let God be what you cannot. His strength was never meant to be your backup plan. It was always supposed to be your foundation. As this meditation comes to a close, let this truth sink deep. You are not holding everything together. He is. And He's not asking for perfection. He's asking for presence. Let your next breath be a choice to trust. Let your next pause be a declaration of faith. In your surrender, He is strong. What would shift in your life if you finally believed that God's strength begins where your striving ends?